Hey, welcome back to the Gamer Gym podcast. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Chris.
and today we're going to be talking about technology in gaming. All right, once again, thank you for tuning in to the Gamer Gym podcast. We just want to say thank you to anybody out there who's listening. If you want to do something to help us, send us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Both of those are at Gamer Gym Podcast. Additionally, if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, we love to get reviews. Those actually do a lot to help us out and spread the word. So if you want to do that for us, we would really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And so with that, let's go ahead and jump into this.
Well, let's jump into asking you how your week was.
Oh, well. My week was pretty good. My wife and I just got back from our honeymoon, actually. So kind of in that after vacation down period where, you're out, you're vacationing, you don't have to go to work, you have nothing on your schedule every day. And then you come back and you have everything on your schedule every day.
You're like,
and you have
yeah,
to go to work, and
I have to
there's
do
all
dishes.
this stuff you realize you forgot when you went on vacation that now you're behind on, and so. But yeah, it was a great week. We got married a couple months ago, and we just finally got to do our honeymoon, so that was a good time.
Cool.
What about you? What'd you do this week?
I played a lot of Eternal. I just about finished my playset of all the rares, and then I'll just have legendaries left. And
only legendaries.
Yes. So I have a full playset of commons, uncommons, and almost all the rares. And I decided to catch up on all my quests that I had in my little queue thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any of those. And then they had an event, which you basically, it's a leaderboard event. You go and play in versus mode against other people, and then at the end of the event, depending on how well you did, you get free packs and special cards and whatnot.
Sweet.
And they just started a promo event today, so you can get copies of a promo if you get your daily win in.
Yeah, I saw the email about that. I haven't got to sign in yet, though.
Yeah. So. You haven't played in a little bit, Patrick.
It's been a while, yeah.
So, yeah, other than that, we found this, what is it, Twitter? Yeah, we found this Twitter page at work today called Google Translates Magic the Gathering, and they basically take a card in all its different languages, run it through Google Translate multiple times, and then they just pick whichever one they like the best.
Yeah, you were showing me this earlier. It's pretty ridiculous.
So, like Treasure Cruise, for example, translated the name to House. It is a magic type card. It has the smart keyword, and in parentheses the help text, I guess is what they call it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Or reminder text, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It says, like a bucket, like money, but a stranger of one. And then the actual effect of the card is give us cards.
Hey, I like that.
Which is Treasure Cruise. If you've ever played Treasure Cruise, it's give us cards.
That's my favorite words on cards. Give us cards.
Yeah. And then they did get the flavor text in here too. It says, clap in water or enjoy the other. It sounds like something I get on a fortune cookie or something. I'm not sure what it means, but it might be useful later.
Yeah, you never know.
So
you're gonna have this moment next week where that piece of advice is just gonna
it's gonna click.
Yeah, you're gonna have this moment of clarity, and you're like, oh, clap in water.
Yeah. So just one of the ways that I guess technology is.
Well, you know what that reminds me of is those guys who are developing an AI, and they fed it the database, the entire
randomly generated
all the Magic the Gathering cards, and then told it to make Magic the Gathering cards, and most of them were duds, but it came up with a few that had some
really good ones,
keywords and stuff, and it's like, holy crap, you could build a theme around this. That's pretty cool.
Yep. I wonder if that's what Wizards does now. It's like,
they just have a robot. They just feed that stuff too.
Yeah. and then they're like, hey, that looks like a good idea. Because, I mean, never mind. I'm not going to talk about the latest sets. Never mind.
Oh, man. I think they're just trying to catch on to some of that pirate buzz that we were having.
Yeah, pirates and
5 years
dinosaurs.
But
I don't know what they're doing. But anyway.
I mean, it looks cool, but yeah, I haven't touched it at all. I'm trying to trick somebody into paying for a draft for me so I can give it a try. Because I can't put any money into that game anymore.
Yeah, no, I thought about buying some starters for it just so Brandy and I could play, and I changed my mind.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So, technology and gaming. Obviously, playing a lot of Eternal. I play a lot of, technology gaming, I guess, is what I would call it.
That is a digital card game.
It is a digital card game.
It is a digital card game.
Digital only, actually. So, I mean, there's card games that have digital versions of their physical card games, like Magic. But Eternal is digital only, which means, obviously, we'll go ahead and get it out of the way now. We'll mention Hearthstone.
Check that one off the
we'll
list.
check it off the list.
Yeah. Sorry to any of you out there who are Hearthstone fans. We're really not.
Giving
it a try.
I think all of my friends that played Hearthstone have come to Eternal now.
Huh.
So they might play Hearthstone simply because they've invested so much money in Hearthstone, but they don't enjoy Hearthstone after playing Eternal because the way one of my friends said it was, I don't know, it may have been you, but Eternal is what Hearthstone players wished Hearthstone would have been in the beginning.
I think that's actually a Steam review.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe he posted it on Steam too, but with digital card games, you have features that you can't do with a physical card game. So modifying multiple cards in your deck easily, or generating and drawing or playing a card from the entire database of cards. You can do that in Hearthstone, I know for sure. And then Eternal has a card called, I think it's Knucklebones or something along those lines. It randomizes every card in your deck to a random card.
Oh my god!
From the game, so you have no idea what's left in there.
That's definitely not feasible with a physical card game. And,
right.
And I love Gwent, and Gwent has a lot of those same things. If you've played Northern Realms at all, when you're playing Gwent, you have a lot of things that give everything in your deck with this power +1 power.
Mm-hmm.
Or you search for your deck, but you only can search the gold cards or only the bronze cards or whatever, and so it actually filters what you're seeing without shuffling your deck.
Yeah.
And so if the next card in line was a gold, it doesn't actually reorder that gold card out of the way. It's still your next draw.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but you'll never know.
Well, that's not, I mean, in an individual game you won't, but
right.
Yeah, they've actually, people have done testing because CD Projekt Red
see what the top one is and then do something like that.
They don't really do that stuff, but there have been people who've tested, like Dandelion is one of those cards who, you look at, you pick 3 cards out of your deck to get a power boost. And the order that they're in when Dandelion looks at them is preserved.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done tests with a bunch of other cards. And generally speaking, whenever cards show you an order of cards, that's the actual order that they're coming up in your deck. And most things don't shuffle them after it shows you that order. It's just that most things aren't giving you all the information. Mm-hmm. There might be a gold or a silver card in between all these bronze cards that you just looked at.
Right. So that's interesting. I should look into that in Eternal too and see if it shows you in the order that they are in your deck or not.
I haven't seen a whole lot of scry or stack your deck cards yet in my stuff.
Okay. You're missing a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, I've mostly been playing the hyper aggro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, deck. They're not gonna the Warcry.
No.
Or the Howling Scream or whatever.
Yeah, the infiltrate deck.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So something else along those lines that I do, or I did notice in Eternal anyway, is, so like say you have a card that lets you make your opponent discard a relic of your choice. Normally, most card games, you would get to see their whole hand to make sure, you're seeing all your options.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
But in a digital game, they can say, okay, here's their relics. Which one do you want to get rid of? And you don't have to see the rest of their cards because you can trust that those are the only ones in their hand. So, and the same thing with, what was the other example? Whenever you draw a card with warp, you get.
Oh yeah.
Or not warp. Echo. Whenever you draw a card with Echo, you get another copy of it. Now they see that you get a second copy of something, so they know you have something with Echo, but they don't have to see that card to know that it has Echo.
Right.
So, anyways, it's like, yeah, there's my miracle card. Anyway. And same with warp. Warp lets you play the top card off of your deck. If it has warp, you get to see it, and you know it's there. It has warp, but they don't get to see that information.
Yeah. Unless
you decide to play it, of course.
Well, and the way that you can permanently change the state of cards is really cool too.
Yeah.
Because
Warcry.
I've had people playing this Howling Scream deck. I've had people silence my infiltrate guy. And, since I am a big part of the deck is I pump this dude up, attack you with him, and then he kills himself to, trigger his ability. If you silence him, he can't trigger that ability when he hits you. And if I resurrect him, which is phase 2 of the combo,
that silence.
He's still silent, so he still doesn't trigger that ability. It basically makes him a blank card
so
for me.
It doesn't matter what area he goes to, he's still going to lose all his abilities.
But you get some really interesting mechanics that way, too, because, Revenge is a mechanic you could never have in a real card game, because the card dies, and it's actually changed its state so that Revenge has been triggered. It's not going to trigger again. And then that card goes into your top 10 of your deck, and then the next time you play it, or the next time you draw it, which again, it's not a May, you draw it and it goes into play.
It has destiny.
And you draw another card.
Yep.
Right. And so there's these whole mechanics. Warcry is another one too, where the next character or weapon in your deck gets +1.
Or, unless you're playing a specific card, every unit and weapon in your deck gets +1. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, and Gwent has that too. King Foltest. If you're playing Northern Kingdoms with Foltest, you always play him turn 1. Because he gives a +1 boost to all characters in your hand and your discard. And your deck. I'm sorry. So as long as they're not on the field or in your discard, they're fair game for that boost.
One of my friends actually won with the Clockroach deck the other day.
Was that the screenshot you were posting on the group?
Yeah, the screenshot I shared.
Yeah.
Every Clockroach you play, it gives all of your Clockroaches in your hand and in your deck +1/+1. And he got them to where they cost 0, and he was putting them back on top of his deck.
Oh, man.
And
they have Echo or something?
They have Echo. And so he was just playing 0-cost Clockroaches from the top of his deck.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
That's disgusting.
He was like, well, I'm glad you posted a screenshot of the 1 out of 5 games that it actually won.
Yeah. I'm sure that's one of those decks that just never does anything, but that one time it goes off, you're like, I'm a god.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to pilot. You never know if you're going to get it or not.
Yeah.
So we talked about Gwent and Eternal. We mentioned Hearthstone, so that one's done. And then let's see. So other features. I guess, do we have any other digital games or games that I guess they just released Smash Up? I haven't played it yet.
There's a zillion exclusively digital games out there.
Yeah.
Small potatoes.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of games that now have digital versions of ones that already exist. Because we just talked about, you said Smash Up is out as an app.
Yeah. I know Exploding Kittens is on there.
Exploding Kittens also has an app now. What was the other one I saw? Legendary. It's not the Marvel Legendary, but they have a separate app now, and it's
Legendary. The Marvel one is still in production, I believe. Or not in production.
Well, I think they're having to renegotiate the license because it's a digital format instead of a card format.
Yeah. I know they were trying to make one though.
But the fantasy one that they have for the video game is cool because it's very similar to the Legendary that we already know and love, but they have some of those mechanics built into it that are digital card game only. And so it's kind of cool how they've taken a game that was printed and they've really fully embraced it into the digital world.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that's in beta right now. I haven't got to play it yet. I saw it at Gen Con being played. So.
Yeah. So, something else that I think kind of influences how many games are going to digital versions is the accessibility, and really what kind of catches my attention, especially with Eternal, is the fact that I don't have to go out in order to play it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially lately, I haven't had a whole lot of time to really go anywhere or, you know, leave my house or work for the most part. So, you know, on break, I can sit there and play a couple matches of Eternal.
Right.
Or, you know, while we're sitting at home watching TV or whatever, I can kind of play a match of Eternal or play through the puzzles.
Right. I mean, because it's been a while since you've made it out to a local game store, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I mean, like...
I order my stuff online.
I've been to several in the past few weeks, but it's been mostly to promote games, you know, trying to get a versus community and stuff going in the area.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I think that's something that happens, you know, as people... You know, communities shift and morph, and sometimes they fall apart. You know,
Yeah.
And we had some stuff with a store out here, and a whole bunch of us all at once kind of quit playing Magic, and so a lot of that drive and draw that was keeping us going to a local game store kind of dried up. You know, and I'd love to find that again, but at the same time, inserting yourself into a new community does take some time, and that is an advantage of an online community. Oh, I just got a random opponent.
There's 5,000 people online right now.
There's zero check-in or buy-in on my part. I literally have to press 2 buttons, and I can find somebody else around the world who wants to play this game right now.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean that's what local game stores are supposed to be. It's supposed to be you walk in, and you always have somebody to play with, whether it's somebody at the store or, you know, the owner or something like that. Online games definitely have that, where there's availability like no other.
And you can always play with your friends too most of the time. I mean, like friend lists, and you can challenge your friends if they're on.
I mean, you schooled me time after time after time when I first started playing. Until you got out your Strangers deck.
Yeah.
You're like, this thing
by the
really
way,
work.
I needed to let you know, I made a working means to an end deck.
These are giant air quotes that he gave me when he said working.
A working meaning I've won at least one ranked match with it.
You won at least one out of how many?
Well, okay. So current revision of the deck.
Wow. Here we go.
I had 3 games and won one of them, but the after those other 2 games, I did modify some quantities of certain cards, so it's still technically the same deck, just, you know, different or not really a full revision. I didn't remove any card completely. I just modified the quantities a little bit. So, but yeah, and then let's see. So in ranked mode, it won 1 out of 3 before I did the revisions on that, and then in casual though, I won. Probably 50%, maybe 75% before this last revision. So I actually had one guy, he let me get all the way down to... Okay, so means to an end, first off, is a relic that you get. So relics are kind of like artifacts of Magic. They stay on your side. They aren't a unit, though. They aren't a creature. They just kind of have their own abilities.
They sit on your character and provide an ability.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an item that your avatar has acquired. So, means to an end, whenever you gain life, you get rid of that many cards off of the top of your deck. You put them straight into your discard, your graveyard, your void is actually what it's called in this one. So you mill yourself that many cards. I don't know if mill is actually a trademarked word, or if it's an actual word in Magic. Anyways.
No, in Magic it comes from the old card,
Millstone, yeah.
You know,
but
I don't think the term is
so anyways,
copyrighted.
Anyway, So you get rid of that many cards off the top of your deck. So that's interesting, right? Because in Eternal, the rules are if you end your turn without any cards in your deck, you lose. So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
With
if
75
you
cards,
end your
it
turn,
doesn't come up a lot.
right? And that's what everybody said about this card is you've got 75 cards. How are you gonna? There's other decks out there that burn through cards like crazy, and they still usually end up with about 40 cards by the time they win.
Right.
And they win or they lose, I guess. But anyway, by the time the game's over. So I have a weakness for mill decks, and I always have. Like
true.
alternate win conditions.
It's true.
People hate me because usually I'm getting rid of their cards, right? And so this one I get rid of my own cards because means to an end. Its win condition is if you end your turn without any cards in your deck, it deals 25 damage to the opponent before you lose. So you start the game with 25.
So as long as they're at net or below
Right.
where they started.
And the fun thing that I had the other day was I had 2 means to an end out.
Oh, so 50 damage.
I was getting rid of twice as many cards.
That's amazing.
Every time I gained life. And yeah, it dealt 50 damage whenever I actually hit 0. But I had one guy, he conceded when I had 1 card left.
Oh, that's
I was like,
annoying.
really, dude?
Come on,
You couldn't
man.
let me get it? I mean, come on.
Man, be cool.
So, anyway, it's really fun.
That is one thing I do hate about digital games. is
Yeah.
that you get the griefers and stuff that people are like, well, I've got 10 minutes left to play, so I'm just going to concede this one and try to get another game in because I know I can't win this one.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Happens to me in Gwent
I
all
would
the
rather
time.
people concede if they know that they're going to lose instead of wasting my time. Instead of sitting there and let the timer run out on every single turn,
Yeah.
I'm just like, if you're not going to play
yeah.
me, then just concede.
It's one thing to rope and do that.
Yeah.
Because that's terrible when people grief like that. But
And I like
I
that it
just-
at least has a timeout on it.
like I'm one of those people when I'm playing a card game, if it's Netrunner versus or whatever, even if I know I'm gonna lose, I play it out.
Yeah. Because you never know what'll happen.
Well,
I mean, first off.
I mean, here's the thing. Like even at Gen Con, playing a deck like Kingpin,
Yeah.
I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like it's when you're playing that deck, it has so little interaction. It's a matter of do you have it or do you not.
Yeah.
And the games I lost, there was a point where I went, I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And unless my opponent just decides to stop attacking me for
Yeah.
like 3 turns, there's nothing I can do here. And
Yeah.
we're at Worlds. Who's gonna just not attack for 3 turns? you
Yeah.
know? So,
Now, the other problem, the people that I don't like playing against is the people that they could have won multiple turns in a row, but they didn't swing. They didn't attack, and they just wanted to drag it out, just so they can hit for the most damage that they can.
You mean like your wife?
Yeah, like my wife. So she, however, okay, so she had, I think it was
Brandy, if
primordial.
you're listening, I meant what I said.
Yes. So she's a go big or go home kind of player.
Yeah.
And so she likes playing Hydras in Magic, and I think she had I think it was Primordial Hydra is the one that doubles every turn.
Yes, I believe
So he doubles his +1/+1 counters every turn, and she had it. All she had to do was attack me multiple turns, but she wanted to swing for over 1,000 damage. And in Magic, I mean, you start with 20 life, so
Yeah.
over 1,000 is ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane.
And then I killed it before she could kill me.
Yeah.
And then I won.
Yep.
Because she waited.
Yep.
But yeah, normally if I can tell that they could have won and they don't, then I'll just concede. Because I'm not going to sit there and, like I said, waste my time waiting for them to finish me off just so they can hit for an extra 20 or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But getting kind of off subject here a little bit. But anyways, I had to rant. Oh, by the way, Eternal's Discord channel does have a Salt channel if you want to check that out and vent in there. You can go and
Excellent.
read some interesting.
That sounds like the new
Salt.
place to camp out.
Yes, no, it's pretty funny. So.
I mean, you know Josh.
Oh yeah.
I'm good friends with Josh just because he's hilarious when he gets salty. Gets so salty he's marinated.
Yep. Yep. So, something else actually that kind of influences a lot of online gaming and just games in general, I guess, is online communication now. Things like Discord, where you can. One of my friends at work, he plays Eternal also, and he set up a channel in his Discord where we can share decks with each other. We can just post deck lists, and Eternal has an export feature where you can export your deck list, post it wherever you want to, and other people can then copy and paste that into their Eternal,
right,
and load in that deck list.
Well, I have loaded decks online into the Eternal, which is kind of cool that they built that right into the app. But like net decking, when you think about, like I think about when I played Pokemon as a kid, and like I had these magazines that would come out once a month for Nintendo Power was the magazine, and those would come out once a month. And only if Pokemon was like a featured article, which most of the time it was a big IP, but like only if the Pokemon trading card game was a featured article, you might get a deck list.
Yeah.
But at that point, it's like a month old,
Yeah. The meta's already changed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my local meta hadn't.
Right.
That's because nobody else could get on the internet.
If it hadn't at that point, it did now.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing too, though, was that I was the only one in my local meta who had Nintendo Power.
So you're playing tier 1 decks, and everybody else is just suckers.
I don't think we really played at the time. It was more about collecting the Pokemon.
Right, you got to catch them all, dude.
Playing the video game. We played the Game Boy game more than we played the card game. The card game was just, I'm actually collecting these Pokemon.
Yep.
But like net decking is insane. Like, there was a lot of it that went on for Versus at Gen Con and stuff, and just the fact that you can post a deck list and get instantaneous feedback from people all around the world playing in their local metas. They can post test results and things and tournament results. Like, watching the Versus community on Facebook explode after Gen Con was just crazy, because you just have all these people who are taking decks that somebody played at Gen Con, and they'd go and play it in their local meta and see how it does, and like Black Bolt was one of those guys that everybody thought he was going to be really cool when he was first printed, and then as more people played him up to Gen Con, it was, okay, he's actually a whole lot more hit and miss than people realize. But recently we've had several people on the Versus Collective post Black Bolt going 4-0, 5-0 at local tournaments and stuff, and it's like, maybe Black Bolt's worth a second look, especially with Predator out and everything.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how you can have a meta shift overnight now because of the internet.
Yeah.
And it also, to cut you off one more time, it's something that publishers, I think, are only just starting to cash into. Because I don't know if you've seen, but Legend of the Five Rings came out October the 5th, which I told you my copy is not here yet,
right?
Because I ordered
I'm excited to play it though
at the same time as the first expansion pack, Tears of Amaterasu, if I can say that correctly. And so I still don't have it, but they released news that the first cycle, the first 6 20-card expansion packs, are not going to be spread out to once a month like everybody thought it was. There's going to be one coming out every week. And so you're literally going to have 20 new cards added to the meta every 7 days.
Yeah.
And like there are some problems that potentially arise with that, because like Fantasy Flight they don't have a track record for keeping product around and stuff like that. But if they keep up with it, like that could be really cool for the people who are really into what's going on.
I don't know. My opinion, it's too fast, because by the time you get a deck made and get to play it, then a new pack's already coming out.
It's just for this cycle. They're not going to do this for every cycle.
Oh yeah, forward. I understand that.
But here's what it is, and I think it's actually great of their marketing department to do this, though. Is I think that what they're doing is they're cashing in on the popularity that people had at Gen Con. There were a lot of people who played the old Legend of the Five Rings, showed up, bought a core set, and this game just came out. Local game stores are just getting it. They're wanting to run events.
Yeah.
4 weeks after this thing hits the shelves, there's a 6-week, every week the meta's changing. Every week people are coming into your store to buy the next expansion pack. You're running a weekly event for 6 weeks
for that new expansion.
That's changing this expansion every time. And at the end of all this, they're having worlds. I cannot remember where at. It's not really important, but they're having worlds after all that. And the new expansion packs aren't legal at worlds. So all of a sudden, we go back again, just for this tournament, we go back again to core set only. And so what's really cool to me about this is, yes, they could put, because these are 20 card packs, they could put all these into one SKU for 120 cards and make the same money, maybe.
Right.
But what this does is for the casuals, and I don't use that term with any disrespect, because the older I get, the more casual I become. But, you know, the casuals can now pick and choose the packs they want. Like, maybe there's a couple packs that are really cool. They want those. Yeah. But the competitive players are obviously going to probably buy 2 of each of them that come out, you know? Yeah. And so, you know, it's really cool how they're kind of catering to everybody. And, you know, just getting somebody into this game and then having a weekly tournament where there's product coming out 6 weeks in a row, I think that's going to cement it in a lot of people's minds. I like playing Legend of the Five Rings. Yeah. And they're going to build up a really early fan base and get some early momentum, which I think is really cool that a publisher is doing that.
And something else, though, I guess, you know, while we're on the subject, releasing a pack every week with the internet and, you know, net decking and whatnot, you can build, you can test. I mean, with other applications that let you test card games online for free and whatnot, which I think we'll talk about one of those later. But you know, you can test online, you can post your list, get reviews, you know, feedback on it pretty quickly. So I don't know if the following for Legend of the Five Rings is that high yet, or if they have a site for that, like Eternal Warcry does for Eternal. But you know, I guess if you can do that online with each pack that comes out every week, then you may be able to keep up. But I think it's going to be the veteran or the hardcore players that are more on that site or that net decking scale. So.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Legend of the Five Rings is a little bit different animal in some regards too, because you join a clan or a faction in there, you know, the clans, and like it's not just, oh, I like playing this faction because this is what they do. Like, people go to war over these factions, man. Yeah. Like, there are people who played the old one years and years and years ago, and, you know, I've heard stories about them having issues when they sit down to play, like, tabletop games or other card games just because, oh, I'm lying, that guy's Phoenix, and you know what those Phoenix guys are like. Like, it's it's crazy.
I mean, it's like blue players in Magic. Everybody hates on blue players.
Well, but we have earned that reputation.
This is true. You know? I mean, I did mention I like to play Mills, so...
Yeah. You know, it's... Blue does a lot of things that are just not fun, as John said when he was here the other day. Yeah. It's all about taking the other player's fun. It's not about beating the other player to the fun chips. It's I want the ones that you have. Give them to me. Yeah. You know?
And that's what I kind of do in Eternal too, which my means deck is black, red, and white. So time, fire, and shadow. And I'm surprised that I don't have any primal in there, the blue. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's besides the point. So, but yeah, so net decking, obviously huge influence for card games, whether they're physical or digital. You have online card databases. You have, sharing decks with each other. You can see previews for new sets that are coming out.
Oh yeah, the
you
fact
know,
that spoiler season is like
yeah,
a regular thing now is really weird to me.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about it yet,
I,
but
I don't like how our culture doesn't let anything be spoiled or lets everything be spoiled. Quick soapbox. I would have loved it if when they did the Civil War movies,
Mhm.
if Spider-Man just showed up. Like if he
right,
wasn't in any
instead
of the
of
trailers
showing
or
him in the
anything,
trailers, yeah,
because all the fans who've read the comics were like, "Oh man, Spider-Man's supposed to be in the movie because
yeah,
he was in the comics," and it would have been so cool
yeah,
if he hadn't been in the trailers, and then it's like, oh my gosh, that's Spider-Man,
yeah,
because that was like they negotiated that contract like a week before that movie came out,
yeah,
you know. And so it was one of those things, like that was the first, like if you stayed to the end credits, that was the first time there had been any official word that Spider-Man was in the MCU,
yeah,
was that movie and the thing after that.
yeah,
And so, you know,
yeah.
I think it would have been really cool if they just made that a surprise, but our culture cannot let surprises lay around. We have
Right.
to ruin everything in advance, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, um, let's see. We talked about net decking. I kind of mentioned it a few times. Eternal Warcry. It's a good site to, and then there's Tapped Out for Magic, but
Mhm.
it lets you share your decks online, get statistics about your deck. You can manage your collection if you want to. It'll tell you, like, if you go and look at a deck and you have an account made and you have your collection in there, which is easy with Eternal, you just import your
Right.
collection. Anyway, so
It pings the API.
dude, I love the fact that I don't have to manage a physical collection.
Yeah.
I can have the same card in any number of decks that I want to. Anyways, just
Well, and again,
the completionist in me is like,
I'm at a
I'm
point
good.
now where I have two sets of everything in Versus, and
Yeah.
Versus is a game where you get a play set every time you buy a pack, you
Yeah.
know, but I'm up to 2 packs of everything, and it's just so I can deck build, because
Yeah.
I go to build my second deck, and I'm like, oh, here I need Iceman, oh, here I need Thanos, you
Yeah.
know, it's like there's
Especially
all these,
staples. You're
Yeah.
like, you have it in every deck, and it's either you buy another box or you print off proxies. So it's anyway.
well,
You're
I'm
spending
even
money
lazier
either
than
way.
that. I just flip lands over,
Yeah.
play them backside over or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
So.
put green in there, because who plays green? Let's be honest. That's not true. Green's really good.
If you're playing Hulk.
Or Thanos.
Or Thanos. So anyway, what I was saying though is if you have your collection in there and you go and look at a deck that somebody's posted, it'll tell you how much shift stone you need to complete that deck if you wanted to use it. So, and shift stone is the material you use in Eternal to craft new cards that you want.
Right.
So if you're missing a legendary to make that entire deck, it'll say, "Hey, you need 3,200 shift stone to make, to finish this deck out." So I love that feature because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I was working on clearing out all my quests, so I need a deck that I win with a Justice deck 2 times, but I also need to deal 100 damage with time cards. So I went on Eternal Warcry and I was like, all right, Justice time deck. I'm gonna pick this one because it was a tournament deck.
Excellent.
I'm gonna take it in the casual.
Excellent.
Clear out my quests real quick. So and they have online tournaments and stuff, and obviously the meta for an online game is a little bit different too, because you don't just have regional or area meta, you have a global meta.
Yeah.
And the entire meta changes whenever things change. So it's like I mentioned the other, in one of our previous podcasts, was they had a new card come out in the latest scenario release, and it changed everything. Like, we started having what they call beef plate decks. It's full Minotaurs, because the Minotaur that came out is ridiculously overpowered in the right deck, which you're running Minotaurs, you're running weapons, and he gives you one of each when he attacks.
Right, yeah.
And then one of the weapons, one of the equipment that you have in there, is this plate mail that you equip to him. It gives him plus, like, whatever you equip it to, it gets +5/+5 endurance and overrun. or overwhelm or something like that.
Oh
So
my goodness.
it's attacking every turn for sure. Anything that blocks, it's dealing the remaining damage to the enemy, and then it can still block on their turn. So what?
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun just to name the deck first off. Beef plate.
Beef plate. Excellent.
So.
Well, and it's not just we talk a lot about card games because that's what we both play, but it's not just card games. I DM for RPGs a lot, and tabletop RPGs have had a lot of changes because of the internet. There are so many supplements and adventures out there that have never been formally published,
right.
but they're available on the internet. People will blog about their campaigns, and you can read through those blogs and in a sense share in those experiences just a little bit, or something that I had run into was I've DM'd for years, and yet I will still get good advice and good tips from other people who are DMing around the world, because everybody does it a little bit differently, and being able to share that experience is really cool. And the DM player relationship, there are some things that if you talk to a DM that and that you game with, they're gonna have a hard time putting some of these things into words, or even just telling you, because since you game with them, it's gonna ruin some of the mystery, because now the next time you play with them, you're gonna go, oh yeah, I remember all that stuff he told me. I can see it now, And it's like, but you get the same stuff from somebody online, and it changes how you DM, but it doesn't ruin the mystery of the groups you're in. And it's absolutely incredible that you can share that kind of experience and lore with people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then there's also a digital version of playing tabletops, I guess, which you've kind of mentioned a little bit.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I gave Tabletop Simulator as an example of that on Steam,
that's what it was.
And it's really cool. I mean, you actually don't have to have VR to use it, but some companies have actually uploaded their whole board and card games into it. People have written mods for it that has the local art and stuff like that on it, and it's really cool.
I like playing Eternal in VR, just on a massive screen.
You're ridiculous.
Hey, we're getting fairly close to having holographic Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels like they do in the show.
It's true. We're gonna have to get a couple of
HoloLens.
HoloLens. we got to get two Microsoft HoloLens. I'm gonna show up to your house with my HoloLens on. I'm gonna be like, it's time to do the duel.
And then I'm just gonna close the door.
Yeah, Brandy's just gonna shake her head like.
Are you gonna bring one of those arm things too, where you put your cards into it? Because
you guys can't see my face right now. It's duh. It's in that closet right there.
Oh,
I don't even own any Yu-Gi-Oh cards anymore, but I still have the armband from when I was a kid, just in case.
Just in case. You never know.
You never know when somebody's going to challenge you to a duel.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Heart of the cards, man. Heart of the cards.
I don't even know where to go after this.
I mean,
that's a wrap.
Yeah. I mean, you've wasted another good 45 minutes listening to us talk about technology in gaming.
Yeah.
So, if you guys do enjoy the show, once again, please give us a rating on iTunes or Stitcher. Both of those we do appreciate. Send us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Leave a comment on our website. Send us an email. Let us know you're out there. And, give us comments, things you like about the show, things you don't like about the show, stuff you'd like to hear us talk about, or questions that you have.
We need more memes or puns.
Yeah, more memes or puns.
Yeah.
I mean, we always need more of both of those.
Yeah. We just need to go with the if you think it, say it rule when it comes to puns.
Oh my gosh. I'll get in trouble real fast.
Oh, so something else I did want to mention, since we talked about Eternal quite a bit on this one, or at least I did. We are going to post our Eternal referral links. I don't know if we mentioned that in one of the previous podcasts.
That was on the
or
last
not.
one, I think. Yeah.
So, well, I'll mention it again. I
That's
still
fine.
need some referrals, dude.
You still
I'm not
gunning
there
for
yet.
referrals.
Yeah. So anyway, if you use our eternal referral links, then you get a special deck and some extra boosters if you decide to start playing. And I think at this point I get a free draft ticket, which is like
That's what you said last week.
yeah,
so.
I still haven't gotten it.
Oh well.
I might have to go make another Google email so I can get my draft. Anyways,
Doesn't that have to make a purchase for you to actually get the ticket?
Anyways, so yeah, we'll have those posted. I don't know. I think that was it though.
Pretty much, yeah. Definitely check out our site if you like any of the games we're talking about or you want to learn more about them. We'd love it if you would use the links on our site because we do get a piece of that to help pay for hosting fees and things like that. But the question that we'd love to see you guys answer for us this week is what has been made possible by technology in gaming that you absolutely love or absolutely hate? Feel free to answer both of those, but answer that question for us, and we'll see you next week.